welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this nice summer glowy look right here. It's perfect for summer, and today I used the new Kylie Cosmetics Take Me on Vacation palette. This is part of her Vacation Edition collection. That's a lot going on. And she did a whole collection on super bronzy, summery makeup, and this is what the inside looks like. It's super pretty. It's got some nice pops of color right here and here, and then just some nice warm tones, a lot of nice warm tones and nice champagne shimmers as well. And so I really incorporated that into this look today. So I hope that you guys enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and if you'd like to see how I got this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so I did go ahead and already prime my eyelids, so now I'm going to set that primer with a shadow in this palette here. I'm going to be using this shade right here. I believe it's the shade Sea Breeze, just a nice flesh tone shade. I'm just going to pack that all over the lid, all the way from the lid into the crease and up into the brow bone. When I pack colors onto my lid, I like to pack a decent amount into the crease as well, since that's where we do the majority of our blending, so that way it just makes our job that much easier. Okay, so first I'm going to grab my Morphe R37 brush. It's just a nice big fluffy brush. I'm going to dip into this shade right here. It's just a nice warm tone shade, and this is the shade, it looks like Spray Tan. So I'm going to grab a decent amount of that and tap off the excess. I'm going to pop that right into the crease. Just go back and forth in windshield wiper motions here. And I want a really blown out look today. Something super beautiful for summertime. I'm going to blend in circular motions upward and a little bit outward out here as well. So I want it to be really blown out. So once again, windshield wiper motions, and then when there's less product on the brush, I'm just going to blend in circular motions upward and outward as well. Okay, so now I'm going to grab more of a stiff fluffy brush. This is the Morphe M513, and I'm going to grab this shade right here, this dark brown shade, and this is the shade of Palm Tree. This color is really pigmented, so I'm not going to pick up a lot of it. I'm just going to put that in the crease. Not as high in the crease as we just put that last shade, but I'm going to focus it more on the outer corner. And almost into a V shape as well, just to build some definition. And I like this brush to do that because it has a more of a tapered point up to the top. So it makes it easier to get into the crease here in a nice V shape. Just lets you put it exactly where you want it. I'm just gonna build that up until I have the intensity that I want. So I'm going to go back in with that first fluffy brush we used, the R37, and with no additional product, I'm just going to go right here and buff out all these edges, make sure there's no harsh lines. I'm actually going to go back in and pick up that same first shade that we used, this shade right here, Spray Tan. I'm going to get just a little bit of that and pop it back into the crease, just so we can help to blend out that darker chocolate brown as well. And whenever I get to the outer corner, I'm just going to go over it lightly in circular motions, which will help to blend it out if it's too harsh in here, as well as help to blow it out as well. Okay, so before we apply our lid shade, I'm going to use just a little bit of hydrocortisone. I'm going to put just a little tad on my finger right here and tap it over where I want that lid shade to be. And I don't want to use a lot, just enough to wet the area that I want to put my lid shade. And what this is going to do is when you use a shimmer shadow, it's going to bring out the most intensity. So I'm going to pick up this shade right here. This is the shade Sail Away. It's just a pretty gold champagne shade. I'm going to pick it up just on a little flat brush right here, and I'm going to pack it on the lid everywhere that we put the hydrocortisone. And I use hydrocortisone just because it works basically the same as wetting your brush. It's just something I've always done, and it's safe to use on your lids as well. I'm going to go back in with the brush that we applied that dark brown shade on, and I'm going to pick up that shade once more, and I'm going to do the exact same thing because I don't want to lose the intensity that it brought to our eyes. So I'm just going to add a little bit more dimension since I feel like we lost some of it while adding that shade. I'm going to go back in with that big fluffy brush, and I'm going to pick up that original shade that we used, and I'm going to buff it out again. There's a lot of blending going on in this look here just to make it look as flawless as it can be. Okay, and since this is the darkest shade that comes in the palette, I'm going to pick up a different shade outside of the palette because I want to use something for my liner. So I'm just going to pick up this shade right here. This is Mocha from Makeup Geek. I'm just going to pick that up on an angled brush. This is the Luxie 215 brush, and I'm just going to pick up that and get as close as my lash line as possible and just press it into the lash line. I'm not going to drag it, I'm just going to press where I want the product to go. Okay, and today for this look, I'm actually not going to apply lashes. I'm just going to do mascara and that is it. So I'm going to curl my lashes first. And we're going to use the Huge Extreme Lash Mascara from Stila Cosmetics. I absolutely love this stuff. This is the mascara that I use when I don't wear falsies, when I'm just applying mascara, and that is it. This mascara literally does what it says in the name. It actually does make them look huge and extreme. When I apply mascara, so I make sure it gets every lash, I just wiggle it at the base and go all the way up while wiggling it. Just to make sure it coats every lash and doesn't get clumpy or anything. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and start with the rest of the face before we finish up the eyes. So today for my primer, I'm going to use my Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer, and this is just going to help to fill in all my pores, and so I have a nice flawless finish underneath my foundation. I'm just going to work that into the skin, mostly in my cheek area, because that is where most of my larger pores are. And this is just going to make it so my skin is as flawless as it can be underneath my foundation. I'm going to use my Hourglass Vanish Foundation Stick. This is in the shade Nude, and I absolutely love this stuff because you just draw it on like this. And it's super matte and just makes your skin look so flawless. And I have normal to dry skin, so from time to time I do have dry areas on my face, and it doesn't cling to those or make it look patchy or anything like that. And also, whenever I use it, if I ever want any extra coverage in a certain area, I can just add a little bit more in that area, and it never looks cakey or anything. It just always looks so flawless. And I'm using a Morphe M439 brush to buff this out. So now that that is blended, I am going to go ahead and highlight and conceal, and I'm going to mix a couple today. I'm going to use my, of course, go-to all-time favorite, my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I'm going to put that everywhere. I'm going to start at the top of the eye here and go all the way down underneath my nose and all the way up here as well. That's going to give me that sort of awake look, which I like. And the reason I go underneath my nose area there, right here, is because I get some redness there, which most women actually do. It's caused by hormones. I'm going to go down the nose here. And the forehead. I'm just going to add just a little bit of this Tarte Shape Tape. I have this in a little bit of a lighter shade than my Maybelline concealer. So I'm just going to do a little dot right here, here, small one there, oh maybe more than that. And here. Not on my nose though. I'm just going to grab my Morphe E8 brush to go ahead and buff that out. And whenever I do my under eye area, I always make sure I go into pouncing motions back and forth. I don't go just one way, and I don't sweep it across the under eye. I want to press it into the skin, because if you just sweep it across your face, you're going to be moving the product around and it's not going to have that nice airbrush finish. And you always go back and forth both ways instead of just going one way over and over again. Because if you just go the one way, it will settle into your fine lines, which is something we obviously want to avoid. It will look cakey. Okay, so now to set that, I'm going to use my RCMA No Color powder, and I'm just going to tap that everywhere that I put that. Whoa, whew, that's a lot. Anyway, I'm just going to tap that everywhere that I put the concealer. I'm going to be doing the same thing with the powder as I did with the concealer itself. I do pouncing motions and I go back and forth in both directions, just so we can get the most seamless finish possible. And we want to press it into the skin so it becomes more of one product and not just powders just sitting on top of the skin. I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier powder to go ahead and set the rest of the face. So normally I contour the face first, but today I'm going to bronze first. I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay Beached Bronzer. And I'm going to use my Morphe M527 brush right here. It's just a nice natural haired brush. It's going to do the job really well, distributing everywhere. So I'm going to get the cheeks really well first. I just want to look super sun-kissed and bronzed for this look. My temples as well. Just everywhere where shadows would naturally cast on your face. Make sure you get into the hairline. A little bit on the jawline as well. Today to contour, I'm going to use my Makeup Forever Pro Fusion Bronzer with my Tweezerman contour brush. I'm not going to go too crazy today with the contour, just enough to make my cheekbones look a little bit more defined. I might go up into the hairline right here just a tad with it. I'm going to go back over that one more time with that beach bronzer just to warm it up just a little bit more. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and do my brows really quick off camera, and I will be right back. Now that my brows are done, we can go ahead and finish up the rest of the eyes. So to highlight the brow bone, I think I'm going to use this shade right here. This is the shade Summer 17. I'm just going to use this little detailed brush by Morphe. This is the M213. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that and pop it right under the brow bone. And highlighting the brow gives it the effect of a more lifted brow. So I'm also going to use this shade to highlight the inner corner here. And yeah, this shade pairs together really, really well with that lid shade. So now we're going to go ahead and smoke out the lower lash line. So first I'm going to go in with this Veramona brush right here. It's just a little shader brush. I'm going to pick up this shade right here, the spray tan shade, the first shade that we used in our crease. And basically whenever I smoke out my lower lash line, what I do is I basically just mimic whatever I did in the crease. So we're going with that warm shade first. And you know what, I'm going to put this brush down. I'm actually just going to use a big pencil brush instead. I'm going to use the Morphe E17. I'm going to connect it to everything that's going on up here as well, just so it all goes together and is really smoky. I'm going to go in with that dark brown shade that we also put a little bit in the crease, that shade Palm Tree. This little brush right here. Just going to tap in a little bit of that. I'm just going to stamp that really close to the lower lash line, but I'm just going to do a little bit on the outer corner. I'm not going to go all the way in. Not even halfway. And I'm going to grab an even smaller pencil brush to buff that out, the Morphe E18. Go back in with that brush that we used to highlight the inner corner. I'm going to pick up that shade, that same shade that we used. I'm just going to bring it in a little bit on the lower lash line just to help open up the inner corner even more. Alright, so now to add just a little bit of a pop of color to the lower lash line, I'm going to pick up this shade right here, Surfboard, Olive Green Reflex in it. I'm going to pick that up on this tiny little angled brush. You probably can't even see it. There it is. And I'm going to wet my brush with a little bit of setting spray. And I'm going to pack that onto the lower lash line. There is a little bit of fallout with this color, so be careful with that. It is a little chunky with glitter, so not as nice as I would like. So if you use it, definitely wet your brush because that will help. So I'm going to do it all the way to where I stopped with that inner corner highlight. I'm just gonna stop right there and almost just tap it over it a little bit just so they blend together a little bit nicely. And now just to coat those bottom lashes, I'm going to use my L'Oreal Original Voluminous Mascara to do that. So now for some highlight on the face, give it more of a sun-kissed glow. I'm going to go in with this, I think it's called like a bronze highlight, but it's by e.l.f. You can tell I've used it a lot over the years. But this is in the shade Sun-Kissed. It looks like this. I'm just going to grab this big highlighting brush from Morphe. It's the M510. I'm going to dip into that. I'm going to put it on the cheeks right here. A lot on the apples of the cheeks because I like to put it on the apple cheeks because when I smile, it's like it catches the sun really nicely. And it just glows. I'm going to put a little bit back here as well. I'm just going to blend that really nicely into the bronzer. So I'm going to even come up here with it and blend it up just a little bit. Kind of like whatever's left on the brush, blend it up onto the temple. So now for a little bit more highlight, a little bit of extra glow, I'm going to grab a different highlighting brush from Morphe. This is from their Copper Dream set, and I'm going to grab my Champagne Pop. It looks like this. I'm a little scared to open it because it is shattered. So there it is. Every time I open it, I spill more and more. And this is like, I don't ever remember to buy more until I open it, and then I use it, and then I put it down, and then I forget to buy it. So that's how that goes. So I'm kind of just going to go over everything I just did, but with a much lighter hand because this stuff is like way more glowy. I'm going to pop a little bit of this on my nose as well. Onto the Cupid's bow, my chin. Okay, so now for lips, I'm going to use Kylie Cosmetics lip liner in the shade Exposed. Just a nice pretty nude color. And I'm just going to go in with that corresponding lip color in the shade Exposed as well. They're like her liquid lipstick. Alright, and this is a finished look right here. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun today. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them down below. And any products, brushes, whatever I used in this video, they are all linked below as well. So they're just super easy for you guys to find. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Okay, so don't forget. Okay, so now that I can't talk.